Okay, Kyle. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakha Kodash, giving us spirit to do this lesson, Lord, when this lesson is edifying. Double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, who still rule and teach well. And peace and blessings and safety to the Lord's elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the planet Earth. All right, pushing this word in humility and sincerity, as commanded by Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And the title of this lesson, well, I don't really have a title yet, but as you see from this video, man, the so-called black woman is being brought very low, man. You know, even them being brought low, they still confident. You know what I'm saying? Cause you this is some low-level mental retardation shit right here, man. This woman, you see it. This is not a what do you call it? A troll. This is not a troll. This is not a parody. This is real. She got married to herself, and that's another thing. See. In this country, you could do that. You can marry you can marry a tree. You can marry a dog. You can marry a brick. You can marry whatever you want to be in America, because this is Mystery Babylon the Great, according to the scriptures, the land of confusion. Matter of fact, can you get Isaiah 24 real quick? Where it says the city of confusion is broken down. Because this is an example of the city of confusion. This woman walked down the aisle. She invited guests, walked down the aisle. Then when she got to the end of the aisle, she looked in the fucking mirror. She looked in the mirror and said vows to herself and marry herself, man. This is bugged out. Yeah, it's like...
It's Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 10. It says, the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. And that's what you see happening, because this place is being broken down spiritually, and also the people being broken down mentally. Because that the woman in that video, she is
mentally gone.
Yeah, mentally gone. She has lost her marbles, so to speak, you know.
Self-esteem. You know, she got low self-esteem, man. So for you to have to do some shit like that, you actually made an invitation. She probably typed it up, you know, designed it. Like I said, she sent it. She probably had a guest list. You saw it was actually people there, man. People that probably a part of her family, her cousins, her brothers who never, you know, seen her in a relationship. And she probably the same type of person that say, I don't need a man for nothing. Same type of person that say, if I do get a man, he got to do A, B, C, X, Y, and Z, you know. Meanwhile, she brings nothing to the table, man. You know, you're so lonely that you married yourself. That's pathetic. This is pathetic. But you got a whole congregation of people here encouraging this shit. That's why this called the city of confusion. You got it.
And I got a quick precept, because another thing too, these things were said to happen, you know. In this 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1, it says, this know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. Okay. And perilous means dangerous. Okay. It says, verse 2, this the point, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, and unholy. And this is the characteristic we see being displayed here on the planet Earth, specifically in America. Okay, and the key point was, it says, shall be lovers of their own selves. Right. Okay, now in a normal society, someone who is in a right state of mind, they will marry somebody who they love. Okay, and that woman in the video, as it says, she got married to herself. So that's her being a lover of her own self.
Right.
And I got the word demented, you know, which goes back to dementia. But the word demented, it says, having lost the normal use of reason, afflicted with dementia. Now, when you go into dementia, it says extremely low condition of mental function. Okay, so her mind is not functioning in the way it's supposed to. Right. Okay, that's why, because first and foremost, because the Lord said, be fruitful and multiply. Right. Okay, how will she have children with herself? Right. and underneath the rulership of Esau, Edom, he gonna try to make that accomplishable.
Right. He'll insert a seed in her, you know, with a tube,
Yo, kind.
You know?
And that's something this devil has been doing, you know, coming up with artificial wombs and things like that. So just in case you have more people that want to get married to themselves, they can still have kids.
Yep. Because Esau, his whole thing is to worship women and to move the masculine man out of the way. You know, and he wants women to be enabled to have a normal life as if they had a man even without one. So like you said, that's why he allowed two women to get together. And because if two women get together, guess what? They lovers of themselves too. Because they love women. They ain't supposed to love women. They supposed to love men. You know? But he'll do that. He'll allow them, like you said, to get a baby implanted in one of them. You know, and the baby will grow for 9 months. But here, meanwhile, though, those two women, they'll sit up there and say, "Oh, we don't need a man because we made a baby without a man." But bitch, the baby it's still sperm. It still came from a rod. You see, you're not gonna be able to X out what the Heavenly Father established in the beginning, man.
I got another precept. This 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 6. It says, "But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth."
Right, because that's the main thing. Like these women, especially in the society, I was watching an Instagram page, and they had like a bunch of videos about marriage and stuff. And you look at, don't touch that. You look at how these women view marriage, man. They view it as like marriage supposed to make the woman happy, but if the woman's not happy, then the man has to make her happy. But if she's not happy, she has the right to leave. But if the man's not happy, he has to figure out a way to become happy. You know what I'm saying? It's like all these double standards, man, when it comes to marriage. You know, because the dude, he was saying how the woman, he overheard two women talking, and the woman said that her husband had got an award at work, and she said that she was happy for him, but she said that she was going to keep him humble. She wasn't going to allow him to think that he was the king of the earth. She was going to keep him humble. What sense does that make? You're supposed to build up the confidence of your husband. You know what I'm saying? It says that a wise woman build up her house, but a foolish woman plucketh it down with her hands, man. You know, and then women, they have this thing where respect is earned. How can respect be earned if we don't, you know what I'm saying? If respect is earned, then we'd just be disrespecting each other from the jump. Little shit like that shows their ideology is off, man, and they don't understand. Like the one lady was saying, "Oh, you could be married and still be independent. Just because you're married don't mean you're no longer an individual." Yes, it literally does mean you're no longer an individual. Like she's saying, you don't have to ask your husband for permission to go out of town. This is the type of women that we dealing with, man. Lovers of their own selves, man. Salaki.
I got another precept. This is Sirach chapter 25 and verse 1. It says, "In 3 things I was beautified and stood up beautiful both before the Most High and men. The unity of brethren, the love of neighbors, a man and a wife that agreed together." Okay, now going back to the woman in the video, obviously she couldn't find no man that would come on one accord with her, which that's why she had to marry herself.
Right. Matter of fact, that's an oxymoron, man. Because if you could, can you look at the definition of marriage? And marriage is between two people, man and woman. You know, a marriage is between man and woman. So you can't marry yourself. That's an oxymoron. You got it.
This is the etymology of the word marriage. It says the action of entering into wedlock, also the state or condition of being husband and wife.
There it is, the state or condition of being husband and wife. That's why Yahweh Shah said in the beginning, male and female created he them. You know, and the Lord said that what the Lord had brought together, let not man put asunder. You know, so a man supposed to like I'm sure that woman in that video, I'm sure she didn't have sex partners. I'm sure she's not a virgin. So she's had husbands. But these women, they proud, man. They love themselves more than the people that they with. They love themselves more than the families that they have, than the children that they supposed to be raising. You know? And that dictates their actions.
Which going back to that 1 Timothy 5 and 6, I'm gonna read it again. It says, "But she that liveth in pleasure," because that's why women do what they do. You know, it's a saying that along the lines of that a woman doesn't love you, she loves the way that you can make her feel. Right? Because women are all about pleasure. They all about, you know, what appeals to their emotions, how they feel. But it says, "But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth." Because the state of these women, they brain dead, you know, mentally, because nothing that they do furthers life. That's why I said in Sirach the 25th chapter, through the woman came the beginning of sin, through her we all die, because they all dead mentally and spiritually. Even though they live in their pleasure.
Right. Yeah, because pleasure ain't necessarily Pleasure don't lead to everlasting life.
Yeah,
Ain't nowhere in the scripture where the Lord talks about how pleasure is going to lead you to everlasting life. Pleasure actually leads you to death, man. Because in that pleasure, you're fulfilling the lust of the flesh, which is going to lead you to sin. You know?
I got another one. This Sirach chapter 11 and verse 25. It says, in the day of prosperity, there is a forgiveness of affliction. And in the day of affliction, there is no remembrance of prosperity. Because that's what's coming upon the planet Earth. Plagues, calamities, sufferings, tribulations, afflictions. And when these things start to come to pass, you're going to have women, okay, like this, who think like this, got the same mind as this woman in the video. They're going to start to, as it says, there's no remembrance of prosperity. They're going to forget all about the jobs that Esau Edom that gave him, all the raises, the promotions, because that's another thing too. Esau Edom, he made sure that he hired the nigga woman before Jake, And if he do hire Jake, half of the time it's going to be a mo.
Right. Yep.
And when affliction starts to hit, that's when all the so-called prosperity that they was achieving is going to be forgotten about.
Oh, yeah, man. Man, I just can't get off that video, man. She had her whole family there, man. You know what I'm saying? People there, and you got people up there giving speeches and shit. Like, yeah, I remember when you was 5 years old and you used to run in the backyard, and now you's here marrying yourself. This shit is all. See, this is what happens when nobody is held accountable and put in check for their actions. When you just allow people to believe in what they want, worship what they want, be whatever they want, this is what you get. You get a false reality, man. Then you get people who have to go along with the false reality just for the sake of somebody's motherfucking feelings, man. That's why the Lord said, fuck your feelings, man. Isaiah 50:81, the Lord said, cry aloud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet to show my people their transgressions in the house of Israel their sins, man. So we're not here to save your feelings or save your security or insecurity. We're here to give you the truth, man.
I got another one. This is Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6. It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Okay, that's why this so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native and Seminole Indians, to this very day, they constantly find themselves in predicaments that they can't get out of. They constantly find themselves behind bars, getting gunned down. Why? Because the lack of knowledge, the knowledge of who they are, who the Heavenly Father is, and His only begotten Son, first and foremost. And it says, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. So the Lord said He is going to reject them, and this is a sign that the Lord has rejected you to the point where you think, this woman, she thinks she needs no man, but the Lord set up the man to be over the woman.
Yeah, she married herself, man. But meanwhile, she done had 5 husbands.
True.
This is what it's become, man. She actually walked down the aisle and then looked in the mirror and said vows to herself. That goes back to that woman worship. Can you get this one scripture about Kashai will talk about they made cakes to the Queen of Heaven? But that's pretty much what they doing, man. They worshiping the damn woman, man. Here that she ain't achieved nothing. She ain't even brought forth a man's seed into the world. But you want to have a celebration in the ceremony for her and her to marry herself. And so when did she meet? How did this marriage start? When did she meet herself? When did they start getting serious? When did her and herself get engaged? This is what happens, man. You got 30-year-old men identifying as 5-year-old girls, identifying as trees and other bullshit. Esau Edom, he worships the woman, man.
And our people would rather have it so. That's why the Lord going to be killing a lot of Israelites, righteously so.
Right, because they don't abide in the truth. See, that's how the devil was. He said he was a murderer from the beginning and a bold not in the truth. So you ain't abiding in the truth, man, because you want to abide in these philosophies, man. You want to allow a tranny to, live in his false reality. That's not abiding in the truth, man. Somebody who's abiding in the truth going to check all that shit at the door and say, y'all going off, y'all bugging.
This Jeremiah chapter 44, I'm going to start at verse 16. It says, as for the word that thou hast spoken unto us in the name of Yahweh, we will not hearken unto thee, but we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth.
Right. Yep, that's our people, man. They said, look, man, we ain't going to listen to the Lord. Forget what the Lord got to say. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Because I'm my own God. That's the mindset of our people. They their own God. Well, if you your own God, why don't you add an inch to your height? If you your own God, why don't you bring your grandma back from the dead? Why don't you change the weather or something? Our people can't do nothing, man. They can't even stop paying taxes, but they their own God. You got it.
It says, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings and our princes, in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of victuals and were well and saw no evil.
Right. Yep. Because they feel like when they was worshiping these gods, the Lord wasn't jacking them up. That's Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Because sentence against the evil work and not executed speedily. Therefore, these people are going to continue to worship these pagan holidays, believe in they bugged out philosophies. They're going to continue to wax worse and worse, but the Lord not bringing that quick judgment on them, man. You know? And can you read that one more time, bro?
This is Jeremiah chapter 44 and verse 17. But we will certainly, and when somebody is certain, that means they are fully persuaded in their own mind. That's our people is fully, it's like we get that next, Lord willing, it's fully setting them to do evil. But it says, but we will certainly do whatsoever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth. Not what the scriptures say, okay, not what the Lord is saying through his men, but they're going to do what's their own vain opinions. But it says, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings and our princes, in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem.
Right, so niggas worship the Queen of Heaven, which is pretty much the so-called black woman, man. They worship the woman, they worship the vagina, you know. They talk about the black woman as God. And then you have like little ceremonies like this where a woman marries herself. And then you have people that come in and have drink offerings and toast and, you know, sacrifices. They cook meat, you know, and they celebrate this woman like she didn't did something. She ain't did nothing, man. She, you know.
It says, for then had we plenty of victuals and were well and saw no evil. You know, and it made me think of 2 Ezra 16. It says, victuals shall be so good, chief upon earth. As long as people continue to bow down to Esau, Edom, and for his agenda, it's going to seem as if everything is going all well. But the whole time, Yahweh Shema Shah is working behind the scenes, okay? He is in control of everything. So even then, evil shall grow upon the earth. It's going to get worse and worse, and it's going to come to the time where people going to start to get judged for having this, you know, being in that state of pride, you know. 2 Ezra 8:50, for many great miseries shall be done. Well, I got the Ecclesiastes. Hold on. Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 11. It says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, meaning right away, quickly. It says, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. Because that's an evil thing for a woman to feel as if she can marry herself. And like the brother said, that's an oxymoron. That's a statement that contradicts itself. Because marriage is between a man and a woman, you know, a husband and a wife. Which a husband goes back to husbandry, which is a man that plants seed, you know. And that's what that's what the purpose of marriage is.
Right. Yeah. Because in marriage, yeah, right. That's another thing too. Because what consecrates a marriage? Sex. So she ain't married shit. You ain't married yourself. Because in order for that to happen, you gotta cut your flesh, your hymen, the cherry gotta pop, so to speak. You know, that's how you actually consummate the marriage, meaning the marriage is made official.
It says, verse 12. It says, I'm gonna read that again. Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 11. I'm gonna read in the NLT. It says, when a crime is not punished quickly, people feel it is safe to do wrong. And just because the Lord ain't sending death angels to people like this at that same exact moment, they feel as if it's okay. Okay, she probably went on her honeymoon by herself. You know, got the I forgot.
I hope she ain't go that far.
Ain't no telling. These people through.
Exactly.
Which Esau Edom, he trying to have it to people where he trying to have it to where people feel comfortable doing these things. That's why he set up the metaverse. Yep. Because next thing you know, she gonna
have a meta husband.
Yep,
metaverse husband. She married herself, but then I found a husband in the metaverse, and now I'm living happily ever after. You know, you're right. That's how Esau want people. He want people. He don't want regular unions of marriage and regular reproduction. You know what I'm saying? He want people to be individuals. He want people to he want to grow babies in a 3D printer and shit like that, man. You know? So this lines up right with his agenda. People marrying themselves and shit.
God, that's why they call it artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Artificial meaning not natural.
Right.
The way things are headed is headed into a state of nothing that's natural. Whether it be the the meta husbands and the meta wives and meta children, or whether it be the genders, or whether it be the beyond plants and beyond life, just beyond everything is headed to a state of unnaturality, so to speak.
Yeah, he want to make AI a god.
Yeah.
I mean, they already is. Some of the Edomites, they already look at AI as a god. You know, and I seen an article that said that a new religion is emerging from AI. Because these Edomites, they so dumb. They'll create the Lord had them create technology like the computer or the internet or artificial intelligence, and then this motherfucker turn around and worship the thing which he created. Same thing that the Lord said in Wisdom of Solomon, man. You know, about somebody who carved something or, you know, lay it over with gold, and then he worshiped the very thing that he created, man.
And then they taking an extra step to say to not only worship the thing that they created, but because like you said, they it's to the point where they worshiping the artificial intelligence. They trying to say they got to merge with it to even compete with it.
Right, yeah, come on. Now this thing that you created is just your competition. That always didn't really sit right with me. I didn't really believe that shit, because that's one thing Esau always pushed even when we was in the world, like, oh yeah, one day robots are gonna take us over. And how the fuck can something that you created take you over, man? I don't think that's possible. You know? I don't think that's possible unless you literally program it to shoot and kill whatever it see. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta close it.
Yeah.
It's 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10. Okay, because the only solution for this for the things that's happening, okay, the state of mind that these people have is for the missiles to hit America, which is known as Babylon the Great. And the 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10 says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. And you don't see a thief in the night coming, okay? The majority of people are asleep at night, and that's what we see happening. The majority of people are asleep. They are not aware of what's going on, what's being established before their eyes. You know, the elites trying to forward their so-called NWO. They're not aware of it. So therefore they are asleep. But it says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Talk about the ICBM missiles, okay, the nuclear fire. It says the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Okay, it says the works, the things that people do, it's gonna be burnt up right along with the people. Okay, because you're not gonna have women marrying themselves in the kingdom of heaven.
Right. Yeah, that's some super feminist INDEPEDENT shit, man. You know, you so independent, because really they not independent. Really they lonely. They lonely. Nobody's attracted to them. Nobody wants them because of their sick attitude. Okay, and to cover all that up, she gonna marry herself. We know the real deal. You fucking lonely. Nobody wants you. You ugly. You think like shit. You know.
Yep, and that's why the saying goes, misery loves company.
Right.
And that's and the company that she had for her misery was herself.
Right.
Which that makes her even more miserable.
Yeah, that's a mental illness. I don't care what nobody say, because if somebody like, let's say you meet somebody at the library or something, and they say, yeah, you know, I'm just coming up here getting something for my spouse. Then you say, oh, how long you been married? Oh, I've been married 5 years. Oh, what's their name? Oh, Bill. Oh, wait, ain't your name Bill? Yeah, I'm married to myself. You gonna look at that person like a complete and utter bug out. You might want to suggest that they go to this therapist, or that they check into this psychiatrist, or to this crazy house. But yeah, we're gonna encourage this type of shit on the internet just because it's TikTok, man. Just because it's TikTok. Oh, it's a cute TikTok. Oh.
Yeah, folly is set in great dignity.
Right, that's it right there. Yep.
That's why the only
matter of fact, we can close with that. Sure. Yeah, that's a good one.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 6. I'm going to start at verse 5. It says, there is an evil which I have seen under the sun, as an error which proceeded from the ruler. Right. These things is happening because of who is ruling. Yep. The so-called white man, the biblical Edomites. Okay, you got a 35-year-old man identifying as a 9-year-old girl. Okay, you got Big Shirley. Okay, her KFC loving ass saying she marrying herself. This is because Esau Edom, the wicked, is ruling. And verse 6 is the point. It says folly is set.
I'm pretty sure the first person to marry themselves was an Edomite. You know, you got it.
It says folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place.
Right. This is folly. Can you go to that word folly?
Con.
This is folly, man. This is an absolute folly, man. A wedding ceremony for somebody who marrying themselves.
This is the etymology of the word folly. It says mental weakness.
Woo! Yeah, that's mental weakness.
So that's highly esteemed. People being mentally deranged. Okay, Sirach 25th chapter, it says, give me any plague but the plague of the heart, which is the plague of the mind. Because these people are suffering mentally and they don't even know it. And that's the worst type of disease when you got one and you don't know it. Because it grows, it gets worse and worse. It says foolish behavior or character.
Right, foolish behavior. That pretty much applies perfectly. This is folly, man. This is foolish behavior. Man. Everybody involved should be ashamed, man. You know, everybody involved, them people that's they're not her friends. They don't love her. They don't respect her. Because if they did, they would tell her the real. They would tell her, why are we doing this, man? Like I said, the only way this would make sense is if it was literally a parody. That's the only way it would literally be funny or any type. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason why I would participate in something like that. If it was a fucking parody, a commercial, I'm getting paid. They say, yeah, we doing a little funny skit. You know what I'm saying? Person gonna marry themselves. Ha ha ha. Oh, okay, I might participate. But if you dead serious, man, ain't no way. So those people, they set folly in great dignity, man. You know, and it says that the rich sit in low place, meaning who would they elect, you know, first and foremost. But the nation of Israel as a whole, man, we sit in a low place. Our people is mentally low. It's physically low. The men that the people are supposed to be listening to is held in low esteem. No, they're not reverenced. What you got? Just like it.
That was it.
That's it on the definition?
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's pretty much it, man. I just had to say a few words on this bogus-ass video, man. I'll push play one more time before we close out. Look at her. Look, then he got people speaking and shit. Like, you know how you at the wedding and shit, you got people that come up, they give their stories. You got people coming up giving their life stories. You got Edomites there. Look at she sitting alone with her Wakanda Forever dress on. Looking ass. Look at this bitch dancing in the aisle. Like, she actually think that she's like, what? I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? I just don't get it. Maybe we're not meant to get it, you know. We're not bugged out. So, hey, we're going to close, give all praise, honor, glory, and worship to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rachakadash. Giving us spirit to this lesson. Lord, when it's edifying to remember the Lord's elect. Kwame Yashua, Shalom, Abba, Abba.